This podcast is brought to you by eRadio. For more podcasts, check out our website on eradiosa.com or download the eRadio SA app from the Google Play Store. Enjoy.
Now time for our chat with the South African actress Sylvaine Strike. Well, she's so much more. We'll get into all the details now. She's joining us this afternoon as our special guest here on Lunch with Eon. Sylvaine, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Eon, and thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on the show. Finally.
Awesome.
Congratulations
on your channel, by the way.
Thank you so much. I've wanted to talk to you for many, many years. As I said to you off air, in the early 2000s, you were the voiceover artist for Cell C. And my friend and I, we were so obsessed with the Cell C voice back then. We were in primary school, and we was like, what does she look like? What does she look like? And all that kind of stuff. And Googling images and all that kind of stuff. And then at night, weekends, sometimes we would have sleepovers. And then we would phone, because we were on Cell C at that. Well, one of us was on Cell C. And then we would phone the Cell C customer service line, and we would be like, hello. And then they would think we're the Cell C voice.
Oh, God, it's such a great story. I love that story. And I think that you're probably one of many that as in your youth, developed a certain propensity to be quite fond of the voice without knowing what she looked like. Yeah. I've had a couple of people meet me and be very disappointed that I didn't have very large breasts and blonde.
Yes, because that's kind of the image you have in your mind when you hear that seductive voice. But wow,
this is what I'm told.
Yeah, but what a talent! I mean, that's incredible. And I mean, that an ad campaign is done right when people still talk about it many, many years later. 15 years later.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. It's actually longer than that. I think we had secured the contract for Cell C in the year 2001.
Wow.
We're talking almost 18 years.
Sure, and people still talk about it to this day. Just shows you it was done right. That's fantastic. That's the way it should be.
It's more than 18 years. What are we talking about? Yeah. And that was Network BBDO that got that contract. At the time, there was just Vodacom and MTN.
Yeah.
And then a new network came onto the market, and they figured out it would be great to have a female voice. So there were big auditions for that. And they were looking for a particular sound that need to be the millennium sound, the mysterious sound of the future, without it sounding too much like Siri, which didn't even exist then. I think that's sort of what happened,
Yeah, Siri's boring, man. The Cell C voice is much better.
Bless you.
But even before that, we were introduced to you. You were still really young on Suburban Bliss, and I mean that was a real SA classic as well.
It was a big turning point in South African television, and certainly a show that has stayed with many people because of its incredible necessity. Suddenly, two families living as neighbors for the first time. We created that series in 1994. Wow. So it was very pivotal around the big changes that were happening, and we were super excited to be a part of it.
Yo, that's fantastic. And now in the present day, I want to tell you that one night I was obviously going through Netflix. I think it was a weekend ago or maybe 2 weekends ago. I was going through Netflix and I saw, hey, this looks like a nice rom-com, Resort to Love. And then I started watching it, and then boom, you appeared. And I was like, what? I thought this is an all-American cast. Where was this shot? What happened? What's going on? And then,
oh, wow.
That's so fantastic. I'm like, hey, that's Sylvaine Strike, man. She's a South African actress. This is brilliant.
Oh, cool, man. Thank you. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. And what a gift, to have managed to audition for something like that during complete lockdown, so much so that one flight took us out and we had to stay the entire 9 weeks of the shoot and then be flown back.
Wow.
Normally with a small role like the one I play on Resort to Love, I think it was 9 calls, and normally one would fly in and out or do the shoot in a week and be flown home.
Yeah.
But this shoot had to include a 2-week quarantine period for the entire American cast and myself, and an Australian who had come from Australia as an actor, TJ Powers, who's also a fabulous actor. And the rest of it was completely South African crew, South African DOP, American director, Parisian assistant director. There was a whole beautiful, mix of internationals on this film, and what an absolute gift for my pocket, especially because I'm a freelancer, and these times have been absolutely shocking for us.
Yeah, and I can imagine, especially last year. I mean, that was horrific. But so there you went to Mauritius and you spent 9 weeks there. I'm sure you didn't complain. I mean, the scenery was incredible. Was it really hot at that stage?
It was incredibly beautiful. It was a year ago, 2 days ago, that I flew to Mauritius. So this interview is quite timeless.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was early spring, so it was very beautiful. Not too hot, no, quite perfect temperature. And we shot in a resort called Le Prince Maurice, which was an incredible 5-star resort. Just the most extraordinary place I've ever stayed in, and probably will ever stay in my life. And there we were, because they had literally, with lockdown, the resorts were open, and Netflix basically bought out and reserved the rights to shoot on this resort and own it for, the time that it was shooting. So the only people there were the cast and crew, and we all got very close. I mean, it was a very special thing. We all did quarantine together. We were all COVID-free together on a COVID-free island. So it felt like we were really in another dimension, parallel universe compared to what was going on at home.
What a cast as well. I mean, Christina Milian is a well-known recording artist from America. What was it like working with her?
Yeah, I mean, she was great, and I personally, and this is terrible to say, probably to the generation who adore her and follow her so much because she's lovely, I had never heard of her before. and I had to look her up because all my scenes were with her. Of course, I play the baddie, the antagonist who gives her hell, which was really fun to do, by the way. We had a good laugh about that. But when I realized, that she was a substantial music artist, it was just really lovely to work with her. And with the whole crowd, actually, that had come from America. Really beautiful people.
Yeah, the Australian guy seems like a lot of fun.
He was terrific. And I mean, in true Aussie and South African style, we got along really well. We got each other's sense of humor.
Yes.
So we hung out quite a bit, which was fab.
Oh, that's so good. You, of course, play Claire. She works at the hotel or the resort, and you actually have this French accent that I just want to say you nailed it completely. But you had some experience because you spent time in France.
I did spend a lot of time in France, but my real French accent comes from my mother. My mother is French.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yes.
Wow, because you nailed it.
I was. Thank you. And it was great fun to play Claire. She was, when I originally auditioned, she was apparently auditioned for in the States as well. Oh. And, it was a massive audition process. It must have lasted about 9 to 10 weeks of just hang in there. No, okay, you're through to the next round, and so it was a big deal, and it was fantastic because I think they really allowed me to bring my own clowning work to her. She's a really hectic character. She runs the resort, like a ship. She's like a captain that just wants nothing to go wrong. And so it was great fun creating her. It's also the first time I worked with a costume designer who consulted me around costume, and the costumes were fitted exactly to my body, which is just incredible. I mean, that is, the beauty of working on characters on high budget films. So that was a real good thing and a lot of fun to design her alongside the designer.
Claire definitely runs a very, very tight ship there. Was the audition process all over video, or how did it work?
Initially, it was video submission, and then it was done by Bonnie Lee Bowman, who's a very well-known casting director in South Africa. And I eventually, got into the room with her. We sent a couple of tapes. We had to redo, call back, have an interview with Stephen Tsushida. I always get his name a little jumbled. A wonderful American director from Hawaii. We just got along like a house on fire, and we created her together. Originally, they wanted her with a UK accent, and then when they heard my proposal because Mauritius is French. I mean, I spoke French in Mauritius while I was there, so it was really wonderful to be able to bring the French side of Mauritius into the equation, because you don't really see it otherwise. It's really an American story, set in this beautiful Mauritian space.
Now that we talk about French, have you seen the Netflix show Emily in Paris?
I have indeed.
It's cute.
It's delightful.
It's very cute.
Very lovely. And for anyone who adored that, they must look at Call My Agent, which is a fantastic series set in Paris as well.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'm making notes here. I see that Emily in Paris Season 2 is also dropping soon, so that's going to be nice. And then, Sylvaine, you are also involved with the Woordfeest at the moment. In fact, your pop-up channel is starting today on DSTV.
Exactly. It's a beautiful initiative that Woordfeest and CakeNet have done in partnership with DSTV. It's channel 150. It's a pop-up channel that was born today. And I'm very excited that we're premiering a play that I wrote with Andrew Buckland and Tony Morkel directing. And that's tonight at 9:15. Beautiful play shot in black and white, old movie style. And if you can tune in and watch it, it's all free if you have DSTV, and support the Woordfeest, because it's literally running the entire festival that would have happened. They're running it on a television channel. So you've got your launches of new books, you've got debates, you've got poetry, you've got music, you've got Karen Zoid, massive concert. Karen Zoid with the Cape Town Symphony Orchestra.
Nice.
And a lot of plays that were commissioned to be at the Woordfeest and then were shot for film, which is a completely different experience. So for anyone who's thinking, oh my word, who wants to see a play on film, it's shot as if it was a movie, with multiple angled cameras. It's not shot with a one camera looking at the stage. It's a very, very new and innovative experience that I think is going to work terrifically. I've seen quite a few of the projects that are going to be on as theatre plays, and it's a completely different experience. There's Reza Devet's Miss, and earlier I watched today a wonderful actor, I think his name is Hannes van Wyk, doing Groetes vir Ma. Wonderful, wonderful play directed by Sandra Prinsloo. And all the plays have a repeat. So Farine and Ferrays, which is the play that I'm in, will be on the 5th of October at 7 o'clock as well, if you can't make this evening.
Okay, fantastic. Channel 150 on DSTV, the Woordfeest pop-up channel. Sylvaine, and then of course after that they can just go hop onto Netflix and search for Resort to Love, and then watch that movie and then thank me, because it's such it's a lovely treat for the weekend.
It's a feel-good film, isn't it? And it's great fun, and it's beautifully performed, and it's also got lovely scenes of Mauritius. You really do feel like you've escaped for 2 hours and 90 minutes and taken a plane and lived alongside this beautiful, existing space.
Yeah, and nice music as well. They perform quite a few tracks on it. Being Christina Milian, obviously there's got to be music in there somewhere. So that's very, very nice as well.
Absolutely. And what's very interesting about this particular film is that Alicia Keys produced it.
Yes.
So a lot of her music features in it, which Christina Milian does so beautifully.
Especially No One.
I know. It's so lovely, isn't it?
That's a nice song. Let's actually play that song right now. Why don't we play that song right now?
Let's play it. It'll remind me of the wedding scene.
Yes.
I won't give too much away.
Yeah, I was going to say now. But obviously, so make sure you watch that movie if you haven't seen it yet. Resort to Love. It's on Netflix. Sylvaine, thank you so much for your time today. It was so good talking to you. Finally, after all these years.
Such a pleasure. And I'm so proud of you for launching your project, and keep in touch. And thank you so much for this platform to speak about my film and the Woordfeest.
Anytime. What a pleasure. Sylvaine, have a super weekend.
Thanks, Eon. You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This podcast was brought to you by eRadio. For more podcasts, check out our website on eradiosa.com or through the eRadio SA app from the Google Play Store.